move to other section related to today's topic. So we'll share my screen. And yeah, so some of you may already know me, but for ones who don't, so my name is Laima Jurča. I am an artist and fashion designer with a practice-led doctorate degree in art and design. My work explores the intersection of fashion, art, and cultural narratives, often combining experimental techniques, bold colors, and storytelling rooted in heritage and community. As I grew up in Latgale, a region rich in traditions, craftsmanship, and deeply connected to nature, this background naturally continues to influence my my current work and my practice, and not just a visual language, but also as a way to building relationships and between people, materials, and the memory. Firstly, I would like to share my recent project that is my doctoral research, called Fashion as Gardening, where my aim was to propose a new practice-driven and reparative approach to design, where fashion becomes a practice of care rather than consumption. Using this metaphor of garden, I explore how creative processes can follow natural cycles like growth, renewal, and transformation instead of the linear logic of production. This research in the result culminated into the five concepts that unfolds into the 5 gardening cycles, and also they all illustrates one kind of a gardening phenomena. So, for example, this first object is propagation. It combines together two Latgalian narratives, which one of them is border guard concept. I took my godmother's, who was a border guard in the time, her jacket, which was already like not used for work purposes anymore. So I took care of it, I repaired it, and combined together with craft embroideries and pieces created by a local Latgalian community called Gvelzis. So the ladies gather together and create those crafts inspired by the Pinterest, which was surprisingly for me, but it also shows this globalization, what happens still today, and we can't escape it even in the small, very peculiar communities, but I think this is just a way we should accept it. So what I did, I didn't ask them to make for me what I want. Instead, I took their own like original work and combined it together with this jacket, therefore creating like example of today's Latgalian narrative, showing it as more as an art piece, an art object, instead of like wearable fashion clothing. Second piece in this research was dedicated to my heritage, to my woman line from my grandmother's side. So my grandmother in her lifetime collected all the towels and linen sheets from all the generations embroidered by women in our family line. So what I did, I wanted to pay attention and care for these materials. So I carefully put them together, sewing by hand, creating like zero waste jacket that reflects all these materials, and also if it's necessary, it can be returned back to the raw form without cutting every piece. So it's just more to show its importance of the material rather than just consume what we have from our heritage. One more example is the diptych of 2 jackets. This original jacket belongs to my mother-in-law. I took her jacket and repaired it. And in collaboration with a local artisan, I developed this embroidery. Also, pattern was taken from her own heritage from her own like mothers-in-law embroidery. So I continued this narrative and showed the care of the garment in continuous generations. And other part of diptych, I took the same jacket and developed like a new pattern for it, reflecting the previous jacket's embroidery elements together with the gardening elements from my grandmother's garden, like flowers and etc. And also completing it with embroidery with a French original sequence, and also experimenting and developing my own like new embroidery technique where I used pumpkin seeds and dyed them in the beetroots and also sewn them together, like to show this shift and innovation in the way I developed this new approach for embroidery. One more is a jacket that inspired from my mother's unfinished knitting project. And to create this, I also collaborated with a local textile artist, Annelies Lišāne. We dyed yarns together with a local woman. So therefore also creating this network connecting others together through the crafts and creating meaningful practice. And also by developing this jacket, I consciously left it unfinished, but with the proper instructions so the future generations can continue and finish this work. And this, the last one, is for me, I guess, the most important emotionally, because this example shows all, like presents all the jackets that has been worn by my grandmother during her lifetime. So my goal was here to take care of the material, to show how it can shift from garments that we don't need anymore to something meaningful that carries memory, that carries relationships, and this emotional sustainability itself. So what I did, I took deconstructed these jackets, took the pieces of them and carefully embroidered it, covering with the silk to show the fragileness. Also coated it with like natural cotton leftover quilt. The first part of this triptych was aimed to show more like a form, exaggerated form, where my goal also was to leave the original cut out pieces visible and recognizable, but also to give a new shape, a new form for this jacket. Other part was more connected to material experimentation, where this representing this silk embroidery, and also like this upper part is from the jacket that my grandmother used to wear in the celebrations. So I decided to even more point on this idea to embroider it with sequins to point out on this initial like purpose of this original jacket. And the third part of the triptych was where I collected everything that left from the previous ones, because my goal was to use all the details, all the materials present in those jackets, even the small labels, all the buttons, all kind of linings and etc. So I created this last jacket to show its meaningful and its attention to every detail and responsibility for taking care of every little piece. So that's about this project. Moving further, there is some of my previous work where you can see more like commercial part of it, some experiments that I did also with the textiles, with printing, but more for the commercial purposes. Yes. So, and also this was meaningful collaboration for me because it took place in Paris, collaborating not as usual, where designer is one who orders and commands the parade, but here I collaborated equally with the model and photographer, therefore creating something new, which that maybe if I would be the leader, would be a different outcome. So, and here you can see one of the most maybe recognizable works for now from me. This is the collection called Collective Blanket, and it's created in collaboration with the visual artist Marta Weinberga. We explored the contrast between the general shortage of goods in Soviet times and capitalist overproduction and overconsumption after that. And this collection was selected as a part of International Festival of Fashion and Photography in Year in France. So this was also very bold and very global experience where I collaborated with the real industry players, like, for example, Chanel mentorship and Mercedes-Benz, who provided us sustainability workshops and etc. And what was important for this project that taught me to pay attention to every garment separately, because we needed to name each piece, to give it a name, to give it a meaning, to give the all piece from the collection some kind of a story. So altogether, it creates even more meaningful narrative itself. Another project was also a collaboration with people with disabilities. This was my master thesis project where I illuminated the maybe social problems and to pay attention more for inclusivity in our society. And one more project I want to share is the collection rooted in my childhood memories that also has had me very broad experience traveling around the globe. I went with this collection starting from Lithuania till the United States, and so I was able to see how this childhood reflection of mine resonates around the globe. It was very, very peculiar, very interesting experience itself. And so to move further, I would like to share with you how this mindset thinking of fashion that living cyclical process can shape sustainable design and innovation and collaboration for the future. Okay, so moving to this next presentation. When we talk about sustainability, I sometimes feel that this word itself has become overused, like almost empty. So for me, it's not something that should sound a separate theme anymore. It should already be one of the core values of a design. So sustainability, it's not about materials, recycling, or certifications only. It's more about a mindset, a way of perceiving the world and our role within it. So to illustrate this mindset, I can speak about it in a few key values that unfold from it. And I see it as the responsibility, engagement, care, and empathy. So responsibility means understanding that every design decision, even the smallest one, has the consequences. And engagement is about being truly involved with local communities, with the environment and where we work, and with each other. And empathy means designing not only for people, but together with people, understanding their real needs and values. So, and care, and I think the care itself is the heart of all of it together, as care for materials, for people, and for planet, and for the invisible systems that connects all of it together. I often imagine myself like designing as a living ecosystem, where every choice influences one another. And if one part is neglected, the whole system becomes fragile. So when we start designing from a mindset of care and awareness, sustainability is no longer like something we need to add later. It's more that it becomes natural outcome and a result of how we think, how we feel, and how we act. So when we start designing from a mindset of care and awareness, the sustainability is no longer something that we, for now it's like a given narrative, and we can now ask the question, so how can we build off on this foundation to remain sustainability not as limitation but more as creative potential. Moving to the next chapter, where we can talk about innovative materials, we can rethink their role in entrepreneurship. When we talk about innovation today, I believe we need to reframe what it really means. Like, it's not only about the high technologies or futuristic aesthetics, but the true innovation is more about how we think, how we connect knowledge, and how we care. So, in my view, innovation in design can unfold through several different approaches. So one of them can be named as the technological approach, based on technological possibilities, materials, methods, the reduce of environmental footprint of production of technologies that engages with the body. As these innovations often arise from collaborations with some kind of collaborations between designers and scientists, or between biologists, and therefore creating smart materials and response to this fast fashion movement. So sometimes innovation is also created unexpected, like visual effects, turning garment from just a clothing into the wearable art. In that way, technology becomes as much as emotional function. And where you can see in these pictures, a great example of this kind of technological innovation is the work of Iris van Herpen. She collaborates with scientists, architects, and engineers to explore materials and techniques that challenges the boundaries of fashion design. What fascinates me personally the most of this is how she uses 3D printing, or laser cutting, not only the way she combines them with traditional craftsmanship, but almost like a dialogue between the specific principles, specific pieces with the nature, and making this living garment. In that sense, technology becomes a poetic tool, not just like a production method. And it allows her to express ideas about transformation, fluidity, and the interconnection of human and natural systems. This shows innovation that can be both deeply technical and emotional when technology is used amplifies sensitivity rather than like replace it. One more, we can mention the reimagined material approach. Powerful direction, rethinking what material itself means. Instead of relying on standard textiles, we can explore living or regenerated alternatives like bacterial celluloses, mycelium, recycled fibers, or bioleather. These materials often behave differently with their own pace and logic, requesting patience and collaboration. One of the case studies I can share is from the recent master thesis graduation work from Madlēna Udra. She developed like this cellulose gloves from kombucha. So she created all the material herself, starting from collecting water from the rain, brewing kombucha, step by step, patiently going through all the steps until the material is ready, and then started to sew it together. And as she described in her thesis, that she sees it as an innovation because this material can not only be as a usable for fashion, but also, for example, in more global sense, as one of the materials that is very good due to its durability. It can be used as for the working garments because it has like a strong foundation. It's not so fragile, and so I think the future in a way can rely on this kind of innovations, and I hope that she will continue this work, maybe to share something more what she will be developing after her master thesis that she already completed this year. One more example also from a Latvian designer is Unwoven by Sarmīte Poļakova. Another case, and her project unrecyclable mixed blend textile waste, transforming discrete fibers into a new biotextile. This binding process is biodegradable, letting the fiber to be released and reused at the end of its life. So her visual lines, you can see like natural pigment line, and the marble line lets the surface tell its own narrative of origin. So through this work, she shows that innovation can emerge from care and transformation, not only just from a novelty. So she also collaborated with a Latvian fashion brand Mara & Rose by creating this jacket from this innovative material, and also as a designer herself, she creating the furniture from this new material and shows its durability and longevity. One more example, this is Scandinavian brand called Deadwood. They offer 3 sections in their website. This is more of this entrepreneur and commercial aspect from this material, how these innovative materials can be used in fashion design. So first jacket is created from the cactus leather. So this cactus collection featured in their production also shows this innovative vegan materials, care for the planet, and offering customers who wants to be a part of something more, of something new into this new field. So other is even more experimental. It's mycelium capsule collection, code from mycelium capsule collection, also created to reflect their own core values, care for the planet, for the people and the environment. And also they offer the animal leather jackets, but only from the leather that is already recycled. So therefore, just to extend the lifetime of this durable material. And here you can see this commercial part. Of course, as I understand, all these experimental garments are created in more, maybe smaller amounts. So because the production costs are especially higher, and it's still something new. But anyway, I'm very glad to see that they didn't stop, that they continue to find something more. And also I can't wait what maybe they will offer next for the newest collections. And returning to my own practice, to my doctoral research, I want to point at one more material innovation approach that is rooted in our heritage. Then there is a rediscovering and reimagine of our heritage, the crafts, rituals, and materials wisdom from our traditions, to expand them and as aesthetic, but not only as aesthetic, but to nurture with care and respect. So when we bring that knowledge into creative dialogue with new techniques, the approach itself becomes innovation. As I explained it before, I stepped away from maybe the thinking that is more common in fashion practice, but instead paid attention more to the process itself. And therefore, I guess that we can call this practice and this approach as innovation, to care for environment, to care for a given material, and most importantly also to nurture and respect our own heritage. Yes, and so when we talk about innovative materials and entrepreneurship, it's not just about making something new, it's about making something more meaningful. Innovation may come from science, nature, or memory, but it must be guided by empathy, curiosity, and care. So moving to the next chapter, when we talk about how we can move from idea to a product, the sustainable approach for me is one that the most important shift is contemporary design is moving from linear thinking to cyclical thinking, and from result-driven process to process-oriented practice. And traditional design is seen as a straight path, usually from concept to prototype and final product, maybe not paying much attention to every step of each of it. But the important shift can happen when we think more cyclical. It moves in loops like concept, testing, reflection, adaptation, and like, for example, the same as happening when the seasons are changing. And when it happens, like when we finish our one project, there is the soil for the next one, and so we can build up on it. And so each of the projects are developing in more new qualities, rooted in even more in our own defined values. And so this is the way as we can shift this mindset into create really something meaningful and some sustainable. Yeah, this is also the illustration of the process of jacket creation, where honestly, for me, the process was more important than the result. But as I discovered afterwards, that the result can't, it's even more valuable when the process became the key element. Yes, so the importance and opportunities of international collaborations in today's world, I believe we also need to rethink what collaboration itself means. For a long time, international corporations in design often followed by a top-down model where one side creates and the other side just executes. But I see this new, more sustainable narrative emerging, one where collaborations becomes an equal practice based on respect, listening, and shared authorship. In this sense, collaboration is not only about expanding markets or reaching global visibility. It's about expanding understanding, acknowledging that knowledge exists everywhere in different forms, traditions, and materials. Yes, so there we can also see this new sustainable collaboration narratives. I like to think that sustainable collaborations we can see as a network of care, where each participant, designer, artisan, researcher, community member contributes their own experience and story. So everyone is equal, important in sharing this outcome. This kind of partnership requires time, empathy, and transformation. It's less about control and more about co-creation, building something that one of the participants couldn't achieve alone. And here is an example of Stella Jean and her initiative, the Laboratory of Nations. In this ongoing project, she collaborates with artisans and communities across the globe, starting from Africa to South America and Asia, creating collections that celebrates cultural identity and craftsmanship. The focus is not only on aesthetics, but on ethical exchange, ensuring that each community is visible, credited, and fairly compensated. She describes her role not as a creator, but as a bridge between different worlds of making. And this model transforms the idea of fashion collaboration into something regenerative, socially, economically, and culturally. It's a way of designing together with people, not about them. So this model transforms the idea of fashion collaboration into something, something new and in my point of view, it's very crucial in today's whole global fashion scene. Yes, and moving to the one more important chapter about sustainable solutions in the global market. After we explore how we work locally and collectively, it's important to look into the broader picture, how the ideas connect to this global market. And for many years, the fashion system has been driven by speed, quantity, and growth, but now we are witnessing this quiet transformation, where a shift from ownership to responsibility, from competition to collaboration, and from mass production to meaningful creation. Although, as mentioned earlier, this linear system becomes circular ecosystem, where sustainable solutions in the global market begin with rethinking the system itself instead of linear model, take, make, and discard. We are moving toward a circular one where materials, products, and even ideas circulate in and regenerate and return back. So this means now not only designers for repair, reuse, and recycling, but this also means this designing is valuable also for emotional durability. One more important aspect in this would be the local knowledge as a global value, where essential shift is the recognition of the local knowledge. What we used to be dismissed as a regional craft of tradition is now seen as innovative and sustainable approach. This is where global and local intersect, where collaborations like previously mentioned Stella Jean's Laboratory of Nations or Sarmītas Poļakovas design regeneration projects find this resonance worldwide, and this shows that future markets doesn't belong only to the biggest or fastest brands, but to those who honestly build networks and responsibility and authenticity. So this new business models is rooted in the core values as transparency, care, and repair. In this new sustainable economy, this transparency becomes like a new currency, where consumers increasingly want to know where and how things are made, who made them, and under what circumstances, under what conditions it was done. So brands are responsible with traceability systems, open supply chain, and services that expand product lines like repair programs, resale platforms, or made-to-order models. And one of the case studies we can see is from the designer Ellen Fisher, a Renew, Repair, Resell, Regenerate program, American designer who built her entire brand around simplicity, longevity, and ethical responsibility. The Renew program was created to extend the life of garments through the repair, cleaning, and resale, forming a closed loop, like in the framework of this system and of this whole brand. One more example, in this case, we can also mention Patagonia, worn wear program that encourages customers to buy less and care more. This initiative reflects a long-standing mission where Patagonia says that we are in business to save our home planet, and it treats repair and reuse not as after sales services, but as core brand philosophy and a rebellion against the fast fashion culture. So the biggest thing we can do for the planet is to keep our gear in use longer, as the Patagonia says even in their own website. So while Ellen Fisher Renew express circularity in a poetic and elegant way, the Patagonia worn wear brings the same principles into the outdoor and advanced world. Their motto is very simple and clear. So the repair is radical, it's crucial. They build an entire repair infrastructure traveling across continents with a vans that fixes garments on the spot for free, showing that sustainability, it's not only it's not only like post factum, but it's also something that can be like joyful, bringing together communities and be as an activist. So Patagonia collects and shares stories from customers around their repaired garments, how their repaired garments has traveled with them through their lives, and reinforcing the emotional value of longevity. So as you can see, they are building all this storytelling of the brand based on very real examples, real stories of the real customers. And to conclude and to continue with one more inspiring project, want to mention that as we move through all these themes that we discussed previously, from sustainable mindset to form collaboration to global systems, the question arises like what comes next? How can we continue to build upon those previous concepts? So what does the future of sustainable design look like? And when we begin to truly integrate care, equality, and imagination into our daily practice. So I believe the future will belong to designers who care, who can work across boundaries between art and science, technologies and craft, local and global, and human and even non-human. So thinking of design as an ecosystem rather than an industry. We already seen this direction emerging in material innovation, like Sarmītas Poļakovas Sunwoven project, in technological craftsmanship like Iris van Herpen, in the ethical global collaborations like Stella Jean, and in systematic challenge like Patagonia and Ellen Fisher mentioned before. But each one of these practices shows that sustainability is not a trend anymore. It's a long evolving conversation, a cultural movement itself. So this new form of practice, where collective and hybrid practices are staying together, studios where designers work together with scientists and biologists, philosophers, and communities, places where materials are cultivated rather than manufactured. In this emerging landscape of sustainable design, the designer's role no longer limited to being only as a creator. It expands from its main function to the new role as a connector, to making these bridges between these ecosystems, between people, between other practices, linking disciplines, communities, and materials into a regenerative network of practice. And two recent examples that express these differences, we can illustrate Iris van Herpen again, and another designer, Scarlett Young. So Scarlett Young, seen in the picture on the right side, works with biocomposites and hydro-based materials that react to humidity and temperature, so her pieces shift shape and texture as the environment changes, so directly responding to the environment and the world around us. And Iris van Herpen, with her recent collection featuring a living dress made from more than 100 million bioluminescent algae. This dress glows into the response to movement, transforming the weather in the owner, the wearer, into the part of this ecosystem as like. So it literally connects with the body, and this dress illustrates this connection that is so important and so fragile. These both examples shows how fashion is evolving beyond material innovation towards a dialogue between the nature itself. And I think that the future relies on this kind of thinking. More projects that we can that stands out from the previous years. One of them would be Loevi collection featured garments and shoes sprouting with real grass, a collaboration with a bio-designer. Second one is Olivia Rubens and Machine A photosynthesized collection, where they also developed the project with the clothing that can photosynthesize and biodegradable with no living trace and environmental footprint at all. The third, in this picture, you can see Sofia Ilmonel, the Finnish designer, who created a modular system of garments designed to evolve, to transform and adapt. So every dress is created from the small rectangles that can be combined together, creating the valuable shape, size, and length of the particular dress. Next one is the picture that illustrates Saheli Women, an ethical women collective in India that blending crafts, entrepreneurship, and contemporary design collaboration as form of social activity and care. Next one will be Zazie vintage coat that is handcrafted from repurposed textiles, and each piece celebrates natural heritage and women's voices and the continuity of craft in this global dialogue. Last one, the last one we already seen before, but the previous is House and Color. This is embracing diversity, vibrancy, and the emotional power of fashion as a regenerative and connective force. So as we saw all the different practices around the globe and explored these new narratives, that business model that is no longer based on the result itself, that is more focus orientated, where every step needs to be taken in consideration. We as young designers, as maybe smaller brands now, it's crucial to be very attentive to respond to this global change. There is no more ways to not to be sustainable. I think it just should be as a given. And I believe that for small brands or independent designers, this is the only way to exist, to truly care for the planet, to care for each other, to think how we can bring together communities, to think how we can create something more meaningful, more empathic. And because I think that also customers who like to be conscious, who like to respond to this global tendency of sustainability, they will become more educated and they will ask these questions, as mentioned earlier, about clothes, like who made them, under what conditions, and etc. So transparency is the crucial key element for the future. And yes, I can't actually wait where the shift will go to the next level, when we will not talk about sustainability as something that should be done when it will already be by itself as an air we breathe, and then season just changes, and when we will start to move forward to something new, to think how we can build even more ethical practices to not only reduce harm, but to say something meaningful, and to use the fashion as a very powerful tool to communicate with others, to engage with everyone we can see, and let everyone in this chain of production to be seen and to be heard and to be valued for. So, and to conclude this presentation, I would like you to ask, and so maybe you can ask me something. We can move to this question and answer section where we can discuss. Maybe you have some ideas or comments or arguments about what I have shared today, and I will be happy to try to talk about about this further.
First, thank you. Maybe I could ask you to stop sharing the screen.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, and I have reached some questions, if I may read them down, and the others who are here, then you can write it down or ask them after. So the first question is, beyond sustainable materials, how would you define sustainable skills in fashion design, and why are they important for the future of the industry?
Oh, yes, this is very good question. I didn't pay proper attention, I guess, previously. The skills, I think it's the most valuable thing itself, because the skills, especially ones we already have, like bringing back this theme of communities. Also in Latvia, we still have those artisans with the skills that should be valued. And I think this more important thing is to pay the proper wages for the people's skills so they don't disappear. Because I have this practice where I collaborated in this framework of festival in the year in France. I collaborated with the artisan house with the Chanel, where we created embroidery piece for our collection. And so I know that from the same work as they're doing in Paris, they receive a lot more pay the wages than in Latvia. So what we can do, I think, is to start to pay more attention and to think about initiatives. How can we value these skills? Because I think it is today it's already crucial to keep them alive, and to think how it can move also through the generations and stop just to exclude it from disappearing, and because it will be really, really sad if we do.
Okay, I see one hand. Niels, can you ask your question if you have one?
Hi. Firstly, thank you for the great lecture and insight in sustainable fashion. If I can say that, I have, as a historian, I have such a question for this. As you already mentioned previously, it's very important for new sustainable collaboration narratives to work with the community, as I understand from the presentation. Yeah. And from your experience, how important is to share the heritage, history of these local communities, of members of the communities? Maybe you have some good examples from maybe your work or other designers. You also, at the start of the presentation, emphasized your heritage from region of Latgale, and in this connection, how is important to use these elements and how they can work to create a new sustainable fashion art pieces?
Yeah, thank you for the question. I think that it's important to understand that yes, it is our national heritage, and it's important to keep it alive. But I think the even more important is to think how can we move it forward? How can we develop it into the next level? For example, take this heritage as an impulse and to create something new, not just work around it and not moving forward, but to think of the ways how can we move and build up on it. Yes, because if we just will continue to work with the heritage as a given and will not develop it further, it will just stay maybe in the same level, stuck in one phase. But I think for the design as this ecosystem that requires constant change and requires development, it's important that we think smart and think maybe as the designers for this new approaches, how can we connect with the heritage and build new narratives out of it.
Thank you.
Thank you. I can continue with some other questions that I have reached. Again, about the skills. How can traditional crafts like knitting or embroidery be made appealing and relevant for young generations of designers?
I think it to become more relevant for younger generations, the younger generation itself should understand its value. And maybe also we can come back to the importance of process, because all these crafts, rather it would be knitting or embroidery, it's a meditative, very intuitive process that can be very meaningful itself. So if we encourage younger generations to shift this mindset from the result to the process-driven practices, I think this is the way that we can encourage them to work in those fields and to continue developing this kind of very valuable practices.
Hey, thank you. And the next question is about the storytelling. Why it is important for sustainable fashion brands and how can designers keep it authentic?
I think the storytelling, it's a core value of each individual brand, because as the brand is sustainable, it's most likely the small brand, and for it to be seen in the global scene, it's very important what they have to say. No one is interested to buy just another jacket that is more expensive and even if it's made ethically and etc., but still maybe this ethical practice itself can tell a story. I think every smaller brand designer practice by itself already has its own story, and it is important just to be more visible and to be seen, because fashion, it is one of the key elements of communication, of visual communication. So there is no other way to be in the fashion than to just tell those stories and to be honest with, first of all, with ourselves as designers and therefore also with others.
Thank you. And about networking, what would you recommend to young fashion designers who want to enter professional scene and connect with other designers? Which platforms or networks are the most valuable today for the fashion designers?
One of the still most valuable is Not Just a Label. It's a platform that brings together all designers across the globe. Now, I guess it's already a paid platform, but still, I guess it's a very good contribution because they actively reaching out to small brands, proposing them some collaborations, also interviewing, so for the small brand can become more visible. And for me also it worked very well, because when I started my own label, it was like a few years ago, I also entered this platform and they reached out to me. They did a huge interview that afterwards resonated around, and then I also get more orders even from United States that even without paid advertisements and Instagram and etc. So yeah, this is one platform I could recommend. And yes, I don't know, maybe there is something more, but I just can't now think. Maybe if I remember, I can send later something else.
Okay, perfect. And what do you think is the key for young designers to find their own unique path or meaningful collaboration in fashion industry?
Yeah, so I think the key would be this honesty. When you, as a young designer, you just start to define your own core values, and then you just strictly stick to them. And based on these values, then you make those connections. You look for the people, for collaborative partners, for communities, for suppliers who has the same. And then you can build up on it. And most importantly, always stay transparent and share your authenticity and share what is those values. And if they change through time, it also can happen. But then it's important to inform your already existing audience about it and continue this one-to-one communication with your client.
Okay, thank you. I'm out of the questions now, so maybe the others who are here today, do you have any questions? You can type or you can ask and just do it now. Well, then it's a beautiful silence, and I think then we will end today's lecture at this point.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, and